Hi, welcome or welcome back. I am Bekah Jo, aka the Makeup Tax Lady. Thank you for joining me for today's video. So I'm strangely a little anxious to film this video. Today is my July 2023 BYOP Build Your Own palette, and this was a mystery palette. So for the theme of this month's palette, it's a mystery palette, and the idea is to have someone else curate the palette for you. So Kelly and Kara, I believe this is their 2-year anniversary for creating their BYOP's Shop Your Own Stash. And so this was the idea that they came up with for this month. So far, I've only seen Mel's video on this, and she actually ended up with 2 palettes. They were really pretty, and she had a lot of fun with them, I think. So I am hoping to have fun with this too. I asked my husband to put together his own idea of the BYOP, and I set out all of my single shadows and then my palettes that have magnetic shadows in them, and said have fun. The only rule is 10 shades, and I also threw in there unfortunately one of my shimmer shades from my Simply Posh Citrus Punch palette has hard pan, so I specifically requested not that shade, but everything else was fair game. So he just did that for me, and I have no idea what's in here. This is the palette. I'm scared but excited. I think it'll be fun. It's makeup, it'll be fun. On my eyes right now, I just wore a little bit of eyeshadow earlier, so before we play in here, I'll wash this off so we can start fresh. So after my husband had picked, he asked me if he was supposed to give me any hints as to what shades he chose. And I said, not unless you want to. And he gave me a little bit of his thought process. So he said the first 5 shades that he picked were based on the shade names. And then he was working to create a picture out of the shades in here, and then decided to scratch that idea and just went with the colors that he liked. So here's the big reveal. I will show you before seeing. Let me know in the comments, should I be nervous what I'm about to see, or did he make it fun and super cohesive? I still haven't seen it. It's driving me nuts. Okay, I'm gonna take a look. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's really fun. So that's really fun, very colorful. He did have some cohesiveness here. We've got a couple blues, a couple greens, and then some like mauve shades. This would also be a green. And there's a light shade in here and a brown shade. So this is fun. Can I use all of these shades in 2 looks? Yes. How will I use all of these shades in 2 looks? Yet to be determined. Okay, let's work on swatches. So the first shade, our most neutral shade in the palette, is Taffy, and this is from Sydney Grace Sweet Indulgence. And forgive me, but I will be swatching left-handed on my right arm, which is not, I'm right-handed, so it's backwards, but my arm is still healing from my cat. So there is the shade Taffy. Next, we have the shade Astral from Lethal Cosmetics. This is in one of their little 6-pan palettes from a while back. This is a really pretty shade that does not get used enough by me. Next is Lemon Lime by JD Glow. I recently picked this up and I haven't used it yet, so I'm glad that he threw it in here. He did not know that I have not used this shade yet. There's Lemon Lime. Okay, our deep blue turquoise shade here is Interstellar from the Quintessence palette by Sydney Grace and Temptalia. This is not a shade I gravitate toward, so that'll be a fun little challenge. Also not a shade I gravitate toward. This is Our Starry Night from the Radiant Reflection palette. Sydney Grace and Temptalia collab again. This shade is a little bit piecey And I've mentioned it before, but I got these palettes secondhand, so that very well could be why it's a little bit chunkier than maybe it would be. The next shade here, another one that I don't typically gravitate toward, but it is beautiful. This is the shade Rainforest from the Sydney Grace Tropicolor palette. Next, we have the shade Lime, and this is from the Simply Posh Citrus Punch palette. So if I weren't trying to fit all 10 shades into 2 looks, I would absolutely do like a 2 shadow look, like using this Simply Posh shade and this JD Glow shade. Like, that would be so pretty together. This is the shade Sakura Glow from the On the Horizon palette, again with the Sydney Grace and Temptalia collab palettes. Apparently he enjoyed the shades we had going on in those palettes. I can't blame him, they're very pretty palettes. Two shadows left. This is Blood Orange from my Citrus Punch palette. I do enjoy the matte formula from Simply Posh. Funny enough, this shade is also Blood Orange. This is from the Sydney Grace Summer Days palette. So here is my completed mystery BYOP, curated for me by my husband. I'm gonna go wash off the eyeshadow that I currently have, and then we'll come back and throw a couple looks on the eyes. Okay, so I'm back. I took off my eyeshadow and mascara, and I have put on a little more concealer, blended in the blush a little bit, and then put on some eyeshadow primer. I also asked my husband the story of what he was thinking, and he said he started off with shade names such as Interstellar and Our Starry Night, and Blood Orange was one of the shades that he picked for the name, and then he saw the other one named Blood Orange and decided to go with that. Also, the picture that he was trying to put together, he saw Lemon Lime as the sun, and then was using the more earthy tones kind of as the ground, but he said he didn't have enough space to create the picture that he wanted to. So, in case you were curious, as I was, that's where that came from. So I am ready to take on this challenge. I think what I'm going to do, because it's kind of working with the way my brain is working right now, I'm going to split the palette into halves, and I'm going to use, this is my plan, I'm going to use these 6 shades on one eye and these 4 shades on the other. I of course may use our neutral brown on both eyes to blend out where needed, but that's kind of the plan. So let's see what we can get with this mystery BYOP. Starting with Lime from the Citrus Punch palette, I'm gonna blend that all across this lid. Now I am just adding the shade Interstellar to the outer corner. Blending. I'm taking a little bit larger brush to blend this out just a little bit higher. Cleaned off that brush, and I'm going to go back into a little bit of Lime, just tapping that over the top of the outside corner. That is blending very well so far. I'm adding a little bit of JD glitter glue to my lid. I'm taking Our Starry Night on a brush that I have sprayed. I'm just going to work this on the outer portion of the eye. Such a sparkly shade. Okay, I wiped off that brush. Now I'm going in with Rainforest over the rest of my lid. So unintentionally kind of doing a cut crease look with those shimmer shades. I'm going back in with Lime just over the top of those shimmer shades in the crease. It's looking beautiful and colorful so far. Let's move on to the lower lash line. I'm taking Interstellar on the lower lash line. Now I'm going in with Astral, and I just spritzed a little bit onto the brush. I'm going to bring that down to my lower lash line a little bit as well. Okay, there are the shadows for eye number 1. I will do liner and lashes at the end. So now I'm going to move on to the right side of my face, and I'm going to focus on these maroon shades down here, as well as Taffy, because I didn't actually use that shade on this eye, which I'm surprised by because I'm usually very intimidated by blues and I want to grind it out with neutrals, but we will make sure to use it on the other eye. So I cleaned off this brush, this What's Up Beauty R103 brush, and I'm going in with Taffy for my crease shade on my right eye. Now I'm going in with Blood Orange from the Citrus Punch palette to zazz up this side. Once again, everything is blending wonderfully. I'm adding just a bit more Taffy over the crease. Taking just a clean, big, fluffy brush to soften everything out. Next, I'm taking Sakura Glow, and I'm gonna put that on kind of the middle in a diagonal, I think, across my eye. We'll see what it looks like in a minute. I'm gonna spray the brush. The shade is so pretty. I don't use it enough. Now I'm taking Lemon Lime from JD Glow, and I'm gonna put that on the inner corner and then kind of inner third of my eye. I'm just gonna take my clean finger and blend those two shades together. Okay, last shade in my palette is Blood Orange from Sydney Gray's Summer Days palette, and I'm gonna use that on my lower lash line. Okay, here are all the shadows for both eyes. I'm gonna go off camera, do some finishing touches, add some mascara and liner, and I will be back to show you the finished look. Okay, here we go. Here are the final looks for my July 2023 BYOP mystery palette that my husband picked out. I just went to go show him these finished looks and said, "Look, what do you think?" And he said, "Wow, I'm a genius." And I have to agree, he really did a great job pulling this color story together, and he knows me well. He knows that I'm challenged by blue shadow on the eyes, and I must admit, I really like the way that this eye turned out with the blues and the greens. And I like this eye too, but this is more my comfort zone. So yeah, he did great. And then he also said, "I didn't realize you were gonna have to use all 10 of them in the same look." I was like, well, technically that's not a rule, but I did choose to do that today. So thanks for tuning in. Let me know down below, what do you think of this palette? How do you think he did? I think he did great. I'm really had a lot of fun playing with this, and I'm really enjoying the way that both looks turned out. I must say too, Astral is the shade that I used on my inner corner on this eye, and it looks a lot more blue than I thought it did. And I don't know if that's just because of the shades that it's next to on my eye. But yeah, I think it looks really pretty. So the BYOP theme for August 2023 is Only Thing I Need. I believe that that theme is ambiguous for a reason. I will be curious to see what everyone else comes up with. I'm certainly thinking of, you know, what would be my perfect palette. But I'm gonna think about it for a few more weeks before I actually put the palette together, and we'll see how it turns out. So if you had fun with today's video, please like, comment, subscribe. If you put together a palette either on YouTube or Instagram, I'd love for you to let me know about it, and I would absolutely love to see what you've got going on for your July BYOP. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and until next time.